Good morning, Karoo. I'm making this video on the morning of the 15th of August in the year of our Lord 2024. So I have a list of things to go through, and I'm going to talk about that and maybe cut in some footage. So to begin with, we decided that we needed to come back to Wales a little more than a week ago, maybe 10 days ago, because we weren't getting coherent and complete responses from our contractor. And we hadn't heard from him for some time. And when we told him we were coming back, we didn't hear from him. And 2 days before we left, he finally contacted us and said he'd had some stuff going on and he was sorry, but he would be over working over the weekend before we came, and that he was going to take care of most things over the weekend. And so we talked to our neighbor, and he said, yeah, he saw people out working here. So we were hopeful that everything was going to be taken care of. And actually, we talked to the builder again the day we were traveling, and he said all the major stuff was done. There were just a few bits and bobs left to take care of, and then the scaffolding could come down. So we were feeling a little more optimistic, but then as we were getting into Carnarvon, like I think on the ferry over from Dublin, he contacted us again and said he had had a death in the family and needed to go to London. So he was not going to be here at the moment. So once again, a little bit of concern because of that. So we actually arrived in Carnarvon at around, I think as I said yesterday, 6 o'clock on the 13th. Kind of walked around the house. And initially when we showed up, we had really good feeling. I mean, the house is just lovely. I mean, we like the house. It feels like home. We're excited. And then as we walked into the back garden, it didn't look as bad initially as we had feared it would. So that was good. However, as we started walking around, it became apparent that the slipped ceiling, the slipped slate in the roof hadn't been repaired. And the more we started looking, we saw a lot of things that still needed work. So, we were exhausted at that point, and we just kind of did a few things. There was also a lot of cleanup work, not a lot, but a few things that still needed to be cleaned up from previous guests. The house inside the house was very clean, and our cleaner had done a really nice job. We walked. It just feels nice when you come in and the house is clean and set up. And Sarah did a few things like rearrange the dishes in the kitchen the way she likes them, but not. It was actually quite good. So I slept really well that first night. Sarah, not so well, but we decided we were going to try to get up and go for a morning walk, which was great because it was a beautiful, beautiful day yesterday. Temperatures probably hovering around 22, 23 degrees, if that, I don't know exactly what it was, but, and it was sunny and it was not windy at all. So we got up, I got up at 4:30 in the morning, and we jumped in the car and drove to Sucknett Pass, where we walk out onto Conwy Mountain. And so it's like a half-hour drive, and then, the walk is round trip less than 3 miles, I think. So walked up there, saw a lot of ponies, took a bunch of pictures. I'll cut them in here. Really nice way to start the morning. And we figured, there wasn't a lot of stuff we were going to do, and we should just go enjoy that. So we did. And I'm super glad we did because it's really rainy this morning, which I'll talk about in tomorrow's video. But we got back from the walk, showered, and then Sarah was just exhausted. She hadn't slept well, so she lay down and took a nap. Um, and while she was napping, I did a little cleaning and I made the video for you, and I processed all the pictures that I'd taken. Um, and so at around 10 o'clock, she got up and we started going through the real work that needs to be done. And so the first thing was there was still garbage outside that had been left by the previous renters. And there are recycle bins that are designed to go inside the kitchen so you can sort things. Um, and there's also a food waste bin. And you're supposed to put a bin liner in the food waste bin, and you put the food waste in the liner. Well, they just dumped all their food waste in the bin and then just set it out there. So there was a bin out there full of rotten food and maggots, which was exciting. In addition, we knew there was a problem with the dishwasher, and it needed to be cleaned up. So we opened up the dishwasher and it was full of water, rancid water in the bottom of it. Um, so Sarah, being who she is, went out there with a bag and just poured all the rotten food into it, and then I actually washed the container. Um, Unfortunately, we opened the shed out there, and our pressure washer is gone. And I was like, oh man. And what I thought was, one of the subcontractors, somebody who doing the render or something, took it. And I just really, really bummed by that. And and so we were just kind of, I don't know, just like not feeling great about everything at that point. However, let's see what else. So when we started going through all the stuff that still needs to be done, I've got a list here. I'm gonna try to go through it, and I'm proud this probably isn't complete. So as I mentioned, the roof, the slates still haven't been fixed. Um, Basically, all the finishing work on the interior of the house had not been completed. And a lot of the finishing work on the outside still needs to be done. The downspouts need to be put on. There are vents, soffit vents that we'd asked to have vent covers put on, which weren't there. The outdoor lights had been taken off, and kind of the mountings on the outside of the house that had to be taken off to redo the render have not been remounted, which are the bits and bobs I'm sure that that Carl was talking about. The And the garden itself, there's a walled area, so that there's flagstones and there's a little wall with soil, um, and part of the retaining wall has been broken off, and the bricks are kind of scattered around, so that needs to be fixed. So that's all work that needs to be done. In addition, I mentioned there's a series of things that I think Sarah and I can actually deal with, which is why I'm glad we're here. Um, First of all, I mentioned the dishwasher. We actually contacted the guy who put in our central heating for us, and he's going to come and replace the dishwasher. I think the drain pump is shot in the dishwasher, and rather than try to find a repairman and have it repaired, I think. And when I actually bailed out all of the tepid water in the bottom of it, and found tin foil in the bottom, like floating around, and I imagine what's happened is the tin foil got in and got into the pump and burned out the pump. Um, and so I just, at this point, I think it's probably just better to replace uh, the dishwasher. So that's what we're gonna do. Um, there's a sink clog in one of the bathrooms, and I'm gonna go try to deal with that today. Um, I mentioned the vent covers. That's something that I'm gonna try to deal with today as well. I can buy those vent covers, and while the scaffolding's up, I can just go stick those on. That's not a big deal. What else do we have? The the ceilings in the two bathrooms that we had finished never got painted, and I think Sarah and I are just going to go buy some high gloss white paint and paint those ceilings so that the moisture doesn't seep into the what do you call it, the plaster. I think we're probably okay in the short term, but just better to seal that up. And then is that the last thing is we still have this issue with our garbage bins, which anyway, we're still trying to figure that out as well. So that is the stuff that's going on now. In addition to that, we talked to, really nice to be here to hopefully get to see people as well. And so in the afternoon, or at some point, I went outside to go. I went to go try to see our neighbor Tom. I just went down to a place where he works. And when I went out, there were guys washing the windows of the place next door with this big long window washer. And I started talking to him, and turns out they come once a month to this street, and if you pay them a marginal amount, a reasonable amount, they'll wash all your windows. And I said, would you be willing to do ours? And he said, yeah. And I said, well, what about there's seagull poop all over the front of the house. And he said, yeah, we can wash that off. He said, there's a lot up there, so the first time I'll charge you an extra 10 pounds to wash all the seagull poop off. And I was like, awesome. So they actually washed the front of the house yesterday, and they're going to do it once a month. So that's really nice. I was wondering about that for some time. So that's taken care of now. And so I feel better about that. In addition, we called Alan, our friend here in town, and so I don't know, or late afternoon, and he came over, and we had a nice chat with him, and then we went for a walk with him, and it was really nice. We also went out to lunch. We went to the little cafe, a little sandwich place around the corner, and we walked in, and Sarah started to order, and she's been, in her Welsh, and the woman was like, already knew what she wanted because she remembered us from before, so that's awesome. And then we went and got fish and chips for dinner, and we ate both lunch and dinner up on the wall, overlooking the sea, and it was just gorgeous. And Sarah said, "This is what I imagined when we got the house." So that was really cool. So in spite of all of the stresses and everything, it was a really good day. I'll cut in footage over my talking here, hopefully, and some pictures. We'll see how things go moving forward, but we've already lined up some chance to see other people here, and I'm glad we're here. So, although I gotta say, didn't sleep well last night. So if I look tired, it's because I'm tired. That's my story. I'm sticking to it.